In the previous videos, I mentioned that in order to interact with the blockchain network, you will sometimes have to sign transactions. But I never really explained what does it mean to sign a transaction. You can think of an individual transaction as a bank check, where you will write your own details, the details of the person that can receive the money, and also the value that this bank check will allow to withdraw. However, if you give this check to someone without your signature, that piece of paper with all the information will be worthless because the signature is actually what makes it valid. And the same thing is also applied in the Web3 space, where the signature is validating a transaction. And without the signature, the transaction will not be executed. So let's have a look at the details. In order to create the digital signature, you need to have both of your keys, the public and the private one. The signature is a number which is generated by a mathematical algorithm, which is using the public and private key, but also it is using the message of the transaction that you're actually signing. So as a result, you will get a unique number which is encrypted in the network. And lastly, the verification of the signature is done through the public key. But remember that the two of them are closely linked together because the public key is derived from the private one, and only a transaction which was signed with the matching private key, the private key matching the public one, is considered valid. What is important to know is that the transactions that you sign and the digital signature, once it goes through, it's irreversible. Because if you remember, transactions are updating the state of the blockchain, which means the information is written into the new blocks and you cannot alter it afterwards. Moreover, as the signature is based on the public and private keys and also on the message of the transaction, it will be different every single time. It will always have the same length, same as the hashes that we mentioned in the first module, but the content of the string itself, of the digital signature, that number calculated from the mathematical algorithm, will be different every single time and it will be unique. And lastly, when signing a transaction, you are giving a green light to a specific action. And you do it in your own name. So you say, I approve that, it's validated, it can go through. So it is really, really important to know what happens when you sign a specific transaction. And what you need to get used to is to read it every time you see it, because there are lots of actors, malicious traitors in the network that are trying to take an advantage of you as the user, but also of the imperfect code that is written in the blockchain and used for different processes. So actually in the next video, we will have a look at the most common hacks when it comes to the code aspects of the transactions. And later on, we will also talk about how you yourself can stay safe to make sure you protect your funds and you're the only person that can actually manage them.